Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I'm your host, Dennis Bithoulkas, and it's time for Saturday Morning Blast Off. Welcome, everybody. Before I get started, let me take business and, of course, promote and all that kind of stuff. So if you like what you see here, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. And basically, what YouTube does takes the outcomes of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible to one of the videos in my vast video library and pops it up there just for you. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button down below. Also, if you want to know when I'm going to be on live again next, hit that bell down below. It's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you. Best thing to do is go to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule I have there. I change it out every week. Also, I have all the links to my social media, so Twitter, Instagram, Patreon. No tiers set up on the Patreon until I get 1,000 subscribers. That way, if you're giving me money, I can give you something in return. Also, I have the links to this Facebook page, this YouTube page, my Facebook page, and a Facebook group page where you guys can post stuff and chat amongst yourselves. All right. Let's get to it, shall we? So the big news of the week, of course, is and I was talking about this last week that Warner Brothers was kind of on the fence about doing this, but now they decided to go in fully on this. They're going to release all of their 2021 movies both in theaters and on HBO Max simultaneously. But the new movies are only going to be on HBO Max for 1 month. This, of course, has pissed off AMC theaters to no end because they see streaming services as killing theaters, and they're right. But at the same time, theaters need to step up their fucking game. They really do. And also, it's a pandemic, and people are not going to go out to theaters during a pandemic. I know I'm not, at least until there's a vaccine or something like that going on, and numbers of cases come down. So the first one, of course, is going to be Wonder Woman 1984, which comes out on Christmas Day. That's right, this year, Christmas Day. And on top of that, because HBO Max has only been broadcasting in 1080p, they haven't been broadcasting in 4K like everyone else has. Wonder Woman 1984 is going to be the first HBO Max movie to be broadcast in 4K Ultra HD Dolby Atmos surround sound. They're finally getting up to the technology that everyone else has been, doing, like Amazon, Netflix, Disney Plus, all that kind of stuff. They're actually fucking doing that. I'm looking forward to it too, Penn. And the fact that, I don't have to pay anything more than what my subscription cost is, HBO Max, is fine. I would also even pump in like an extra $5 for a new movie release. That would be fine, quite honestly. Thanks, Philip. It's I'm looking forward to this. I really am. This is what we're supposed to be going towards anyway, is streaming new movies. Having the option, you can go to the theater and go and watch it there if you want to, or you can watch it at home on streaming service. Yeah. Penn says I would have skipped it until video rather than risk exposure. Yeah, exactly. Me too. Also, on top of all of this, HBO Max is looking at making original DC-based content outside of the US. So what does that mean? I guess with Peacemaker that they're doing, the John Cena TV show that they're doing, that's based off the Suicide Squad character that he's playing in James Gunn's new movie, Suicide Squad. I guess it's filming outside of the US, which is fine. Movies have done this all the time. TV shows are actually starting to do this now too. And so it's saying here, HBO has been producing original series in Europe, Latin America, and Asia for a number of years, with series including Czech crime drama Wasteland, Polish conspiracy drama The Pact, Taiwanese supernatural thriller The Teenage Psychic, and raunchy Brazilian mystery La Vida Secreta de las Parejas. There we go. My Spanish is a little bit rusty. It's not as rusty as my English, but still, it's pretty rusty. And basically, what they said they're doing is, and it's a quote from one of their heads up there, higher heads up. One of the things that we're doing with Max is all of our international productions will eventually live on Max, and we're going to do a much better job of coordinating between all of the folks programming in Europe, Latin America, and Asia. So if there's anything that we're developing that has real cross-border appeal, we'll be able to highlight that. So that's essentially meaning that we're looking for new content and we're going to get it any way we can, is what's going on. Yeah. And I'm okay with that. I want more content coming in. I've said this before. There's plenty of content sitting in the books behind me that's new. I want new things. Yes, you're going to wade through a mountain of garbage as well, but that's the trade-off on everything. I mean, I just watched Mulan last night, the live action one for the first time on Disney Plus, and good God, what a piece of shit that was. I don't know why they had to remake it, quite honestly. The animated version was just fine and actually a lot better than that whitewash shit. Penn, why did I watch it? Because it was free and I was bored and there was nothing else on. And quite honestly, I got tired of watching Nailed It on Netflix. So I've been watching that series, Nailed It, where they make all these amateur chefs are trying to make stupid cakes and whatnot. And of course, they have a time crunch. Plus, they've never made anything like that before. And of course, they come up failing on everything they do. What was I thinking, Penn? I was thinking that I just wanted to watch something new for a change. That was all. It was my fault. Yeah. I just need a little bit of relaxation. I got a lot of stuff going on at the moment, you know? So, anyway, going back to the news here, Oscar Isaac has been cast to play Solid Snake in Sony's Metal Gear Solid movie. Um, Great, I guess. I've never really I take that back. I played Metal Gear Solid for like a hot minute in I don't remember when, like I think the 90s, something like that, whenever it first came out. I think I literally picked up a controller, played it, said I don't like this, and I walked away. And that was just because it wasn't my game, it wasn't my system or anything like that. It just didn't appeal to me. I know there's lots of people that are into this, into the whole storyline and everything like that. That's great. I don't know the character, so yeah. But sure, Oscar Isaac, why not? He's being cast in a lot of stuff, so we'll see if he's going to end up doing. It's kind of like Guillermo del Toro. He gets supposedly named in every single movie that was coming out for a while there, about 5 years ago, and of course, he only puts out one movie every 5 years, something like that. So we'll see how that goes. I know Oscar Isaac is going to be a lot more prolific than that because he's an actor, not a director. So yeah. So this one was kind of interesting. Peter Dinklage is going to star in the Toxic Avenger reboot. That's right, the Toxic Avenger reboot movie. No word yet on who he's going to play. If he's going to be playing the actual Toxic Avenger, which would be kind of interesting. For those of you who don't know who the Toxic Avenger is, it was an 80s, early 80s movie. Trauma was the name of the company that put it together, and they were very, very, very low budget. And it was about a janitor who's kind of on the slow side, shall we say, who gets dumped into some toxic material and turns into this gigantic, kind of misshapen superhero and fights crime with a mop. But he also has toxic powers and whatnot and stuff like that, and from the toxic waste. And yeah, it created an entire series in the 80s. If you don't know who he is, I'm sure there's stuff up on Amazon and in other corners of the dark web as well. Philip A. Demick says, I want a whole lot more of American movies and shows to be based on games, but they are very few times they've adapted game stories well. Yeah, that's because game stories usually are fairly sparse, Philip. So it works within the game itself when you're playing the game because having a sparse narrative allows for you to fill in the rest of the blanks as you're playing the game. Doing it as a script, as an overall narrative to a story, doesn't work most of the time. That's the reason why video game movies fail. And I hate to say that. Everyone keeps going, no, but video game movie storylines have such a robust. No, it's really not. It's actually sparse for a reason, so that the player can fill in the rest of it as they're going along. It's a choose your own adventure. Apple Crow says, I want Peter Dinklage to play Calo Nord if they ever make an Old Republic movie. Uh, is it Kalo? Kalo Nord? Kalo? I don't know. I'm bad with inflections. The emphasis on the wrong syllable is usually what I end up doing. But sure, okay. I don't think they're going to make an Old Republic movie. Um, I mean, we know that Taika Waititi is going to be doing a Star Wars movie. We know that Kevin Feige is supposed to be directing a Star Wars movie. Who else is supposed to be directing a Star Wars movie? There's one other person that's supposed to be directing a Star Wars movie. I can't remember who it is. And most likely, this is a new trilogy of movies that they're doing, so we don't know exactly what's going on. So it could be. I doubt they're going to do an Old Republic movie, though. Philip says the real adventure was inside of you all along, like your secret garden. That's where the secret garden. It's inside all of us. I'm sorry, it's early still for me. Um, Here's some bad news for those of you fans out there of Disney XD's DuckTales. The current third season will be the final season of Disney XD's DuckTales. Yeah, they decided not to renew it, and yeah, they got the bad news as season 3 is being aired right now. Apple Crow says they need to let Dave Filoni use the world between worlds to erase the sequel trilogy while Harrison and Mark are still alive. I'm fairly sure that Mark isn't going to go back to that. I mean, he'll do voice work, I'm sure, and I'm really sure that Harrison doesn't want anything to do with it. He wanted his character killed off in that first movie. You know, he wanted Han Solo to be dead, so he didn't have to come back for anything else. Yeah. And yeah, I hate to say it, but yeah, we need to move on from the original trilogy. And I say this as a huge fan of the original trilogy, Star Wars trilogy, but we need to let it go. Yeah, he wanted Han killed off an Empire. I agree, Apple Crow, he did. But yeah, we need to move away from the Skywalker saga and just move on to something else. And the Mandalorian is doing a great job of that, of moving on to something else, even though it has ties to it still. Let the past die, exactly. It's not let the past die, it's just let it lie. Apple Crow. I mean, just let it be and move on to some new stuff. There's always it's a galaxy, for fuck's sake. A galaxy has billions of trillions of people in it. And there's got to be some more interesting stories than just the Skywalker family. I mean, there's a lot of drama within the Skywalker family, don't get me wrong. But fuck's sakes, let's move on a little bit to that. We finally got confirmation that Haley Steinfeld is Kate Bishop in the new Hawkeye series. Because why is that? She's been spotted filming on location with Jeremy Renner in Brooklyn and in the New York City subway system. So dressed as Kate Bishop, along with Lucky the pizza dog. So yeah, we've got all of that going on. But I guess Lucky now is being called Luke the pizza dog. I guess I don't know why they changed it to Luke, but sure, okay, Luke the pizza dog, that's fine. Applecross has got some more Hobo Fett action. Best Boba Fett scene in the whole. Yeah. Well, yeah, of course. That's because he actually did something this time around, Applecrow. He didn't just get his jetpack ignited and getting flown off into the Sarlacc pit. That's really the only action he ever did in any of the movies. I hate to say it. And I say this as, Boba Fett is in Carbonite right over here. Yeah. Yeah, he actually, hey Dante, yes, he for the amount of screen time that Boba Fett had and for the most inaction that he did in movies, uh he was really kind of inflated, shall we say, in fandom. Don't get me wrong, he's a cool character. I like Boba Fett and everything, but yes, he needed to have more stuff done. He did more in the animated stuff. What was it? The animated Star Wars thing that came out that was really bad. The holiday special thing. Yeah, he did more in that than he did in the actual movies. Uh yeah. So this thing, writer Kat Vasco has been tasked with writing a female-centric Plastic Man movie script. Oh, Warner Brothers, will you never learn? This is not the way to do this. Make a fucking Plastic Man movie. Don't make a female gender flipped version or whatever of it. It's not going to work. Unless your character originally started off that way, don't do it. That's all I can say. Don't do it. Hopefully this crashes and burns like most Warner Brothers productions do. Especially their DC centric character productions. And quite honestly, Plastic Man is such a low level event, low level character anyway, in the eyes of the general public. I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen. Yes, I mentioned the holiday specials, Dante. Yes, I did. Hey, Raymond. Applecross says the rule of cool. This is the way. Uh, who's he? Who's Plastic Man? Is that what you're asking, Raymond? That's funny. But Applecrow says, for fuck's sakes, there are so many great female characters all around. Give them screen time. Yeah, exactly. Especially in the DC universe, for fuck's sake. There are a lot of female characters in the DC universe that could benefit from their own movie and stuff like that. But yeah, we're not going to get that. Anyway, I mean, you could do a Black Canary movie, quite honestly. Uh you could bring in Journey Smollett back in if you can get her away from Lovecraft Country, to reprise her role and actually do it where she has her, voice and all that kind of stuff. Because there was an awesome Black Canary mini series done, I want to say in the early 90s, somewhere around there, where she was a fucking badass. That would have been a great series to do as a movie. I'm trying to think of other characters right now because my mind is. But you could actually go back to the Enchantress as well for a villain DC movie and redo the Enchantress and make her correct instead of that whole undulating bullshit thing that was in the David Ayer movie, which wasn't his fault. I mean, that was all Warner Brothers on that one. There are a lot of characters they could choose from, quite honestly. Well, people complain about how big Plastic Lady. Well, so are you going to call her Plastic Woman at this point? So if you call if you call her Plastic Woman at this point, um, that's has some serious negative connotations as well, and yeah, that brings another whole host of problems. So then what are you going to do? You're going to change the name of the character? You might as well not even do the character then at that point and just make it Plastic Man, for fuck's sake. Philip Adamic says they have done Black Canary 8 times, and only the Russian stripper on Bounding into Comics has gotten her right. Okay. Never saw that. So, Raymond K. Hessel says, have we ever seen the Beyonder or Molecule Man in a medium other than comics? No. And that's just because, again, comics are now finally starting to be taken seriously, I guess you could say. And money is being poured into them as saying, oh, yeah, these actually do have some good stories. It's still a 50-50 on that, quite honestly. You have some people that are still viewing it as comics are for kids and it's kiddie bullshit, and we're going to do as horrible job as possible. And then you have other people on the other side of the spectrum that are going, no, these actually are good stories, adult stories that you can actually tell and involve everybody in the family, get everyone involved in all of this, and actually tell a good story like a regular movie. Um, but again, you're just not they're the money's there. That's all I can say. You just need the right person for the job and the right producer or head of studio or something like that to say, "Hey, we've got this property that we're not going to fuck up." Hi, Kevin Feige. Yes, thank you, because that's what he's actually doing. He's going, "We're not going to fuck up these properties by doing, a female Doctor Doom," which it'd be interesting, but also at the same time, I'd be like, no, no, there's a reason why he is like he is. He's got a whole bunch of issues, and yeah, so never mind. Off my rant on that one. Um, this one was kind of interesting. Julius Avery, who directed Overlord, and if you haven't seen Overlord, I believe it's still on Amazon Prime, and it's really fucking good. It's about zombies in World War II, and basically the Nazis are making zombies. Great movie. It's actually really good and scary. So Julius Avery, who directed that movie, is going to be directing the Van Helsing reboot. Now, I'm talking about the Van Helsing movie with Hugh Jackman that was out there. That it's a guilty pleasure of mine. I like parts of it. I don't like the entire thing, but if it comes on, I'll watch it. If it comes on TV or I see it someplace or whatever, I'm skipping through, as I'm looking through my stuff to watch and I see it, I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll watch it. I mean, it's got some interesting stuff to it. Raymond says, have you spoken of the Spider-Man Miles Morales game? No, because I haven't played it. Because I don't have a PS5, and I probably won't be getting a PS5 until sometime in 2021, like probably mid 2021, when they become plentiful and you don't have to pay a scalper $500 over what it costs to get one. Or, worry about getting a brick in return. Yeah. Yeah, it's nice, Apple Crow. I gave up on trying to do it. It's not worth it as far as I'm concerned, and I've got other stuff that I'm doing. So yeah. Oh, there's a PS4 version, Raymond. I didn't know. I still don't want to pay for it because, like I said, I'm not paying for any games right now until that happens. So Philip A. Demick says I broke down and got Amazon Prime yesterday, so I can watch The Expanse next week. Nice. There's also a lot of other stuff on there, Philip. If you do, I would suggest if you want to watch something kind of weird, and The Hunters with Al Pacino in there is an interesting series. Yeah. Apple Crow says, "Yeah, I spent 2 weeks of crazy sleep schedule before getting lucky." Yeah, see, that's I don't have that kind of I really don't have that kind of time to do that. I got other stuff going on right now. So I'll tell you guys what's going on right now. So what's going on right now is and it's not a done deal as of yet, but I'm most likely moving up to Northern California within the next month here for a job. So, and that's about all I can say at this moment because it hasn't finalized as of yet. Yeah. But yeah, so I'm kind of busy with all of that stuff going on right now. And yeah, the PS5, I was like, that's off to the side now. I'm like, yeah, I don't give a shit about that. Yeah. Oh yes, I'll still be podcasting, vodcasting, whatever you want to call this. But yeah, it's just gonna be a little bit of hiccup with setup time and all that kind of stuff. So, finding a place and all that and getting rid of this place and yeah, because I'd have to sell and yeah, it's pod blog vodcasting. Yes. That's actually more vodcasting, I guess you could say. That's what people, I guess, call it. So anyway, going back to the news. David Ramsey, who played John Diggle on Arrow, is coming back to the Arrowverse as a director and also as John Diggle, excuse me, for 5 episodes across whatever remains of the CW series that are out there. And he's also going to return as a mystery character in Legends of Tomorrow. Does this mean he's going to be playing Jon Stewart, Green Lantern? We don't know. Although that's going to be fun, kind of interesting, quite honestly. I'm interested to see that. And Legends of Tomorrow is actually the last CW show that I've been watching. Well, other than Stargirl. So I'll probably give that a shot. And if Swamp Thing ever gets picked up by CW, I'll probably watch that just to see how much they cut out of it. But yeah. Yeah. Interesting. And with the news that Amazon Prime, I guess, is also going to be showing like local TV networks in they've only got 5 cities lined up right now. It's like Seattle, San Francisco, New York, I think someplace in Texas, and I forget where the 5th one was. And then they're going to spread it out to 90 cities as well. But with your Amazon Prime subscription, you're going to be able to get local channels and streaming, which would be kind of cool. Yeah. Do I think that Hollywood could get Green Lantern right? Do I think WB can get Green Lantern right? No. They can't. Well, first of all, they would need someone that actually likes Green Lantern to do the movie. And then they would need somebody, to do the script and the movie, I should say. Then they'd have to actually cast correctly. And then, of course, they would have to have the studio not interfere with them doing what they're doing. And to have all 3 of those happen at the same time, I don't see WB actually doing that, especially in the turmoil that they're in right now. So, no. Yeah, I agree, Joker. They do have a great on-demand. CW does have a good on-demand service, but the thing is, you have to wait till the next day in order to watch it, and also the commercials just kill me. They're so repetitive. They are so repetitive. Even putting the mute on just still aggravates me. Yeah. Philip A. Demick says, I want to see John Diggle Green Lantern also, but I wanted him to learn to team up with Stephen Amell. Yeah, as Green Arrow. I don't know. I like the old comic dynamic of Green Arrow and Green Lantern, the way they did it, because back in the 70s, it actually played out right, where you had Green Lantern being this kind of stoic military dude, and you had Green Arrow, who is a bit more liberal, and I guess you could say, with his mindset. And so they had a clash of ideals of how they would do things. And that was actually what made the comic dynamic, because you actually had a clash of how you do things in a superhero setting. And that was pretty cool. Yeah. And I don't think it would work with Stephen Amell's Green Arrow. Yeah. And him as Green Lantern. It wouldn't have the same dynamic there. Yeah. So my final thing that I've got news-wise here, because it was a short news week, there wasn't much going on here. Noah Hawley in an interview with Vanity Fair, was basically talking about, or I should, excuse me, he was an interview with Deadline. That's what it was. Um, they were asking him about in Alien, the Alien franchise. I guess he had been in talks with Fox about doing a TV series based on the Alien franchise before, and then when Disney took over Fox, he was talking to Fox about, or excuse me, Disney about this as well. And I guess every few weeks he ends up talking to them about it, and nothing comes about from it. And the way he kind of was non-committal about it in the interview, but kind of skirting around the issue, seems like Disney is still interested in doing this, and they are interested in having him helmet, which would be fucking amazing if you can get Noah Hawley on an Alien TV series franchise. That would be mind blowing, especially if he could do it in the way he did, like the visuals of Legion and stuff like that. I think it would be awesome. Maybe that's just me. I don't know, but yeah, that's what I'm interested in. Besides, failed cooking shows and things like that. Which, by the way, is pretty fucking funny. So the going back to Nailed It on Netflix that I was watching, which I was talking about earlier, the host of that series, Nicole Byers, the first season is a hot mess. It really is. It didn't know where they were going with it until like about near the end of that first season. But the second season, I haven't laughed so hard in some of the shit that they did in those first couple episodes of the second season. And it's hard to tell if Nicole Byers is actually drunk or not during most of these episodes because of the way she acts. But yeah, that was actually what was making me laugh. Popeye Pliskin says, which period of time would you think the Alien show would take place? Oh, that's a good question. I would set it in the time of Ripley, uh, when she's aboard, basically when she's frozen before they find her in Aliens. So that in between time between Alien and Aliens, that's when I would do it. Raymond K. Hessel says, how has he not? Even Fargo has a taste of Aliens. That's great. Yeah. I don't know how he hasn't done Aliens. I really don't. I think the movie Lucy in the Sky kind of hurt him. Um, yeah. And granted, it was Fox, and you know, it was kind of a weird story to begin with, but yeah, I think that might have hurt him. Philip Ademic says, "How dare you? Excuse me. How dare?" Again, I don't have my glasses on, so I'm not actually. You know what? Let me put my fucking glasses on so I can actually read what the hell is going on there. How do you feel about Doom on Max? On one hand, at least the movie is coming out. On the other, there is no way they can afford a Dune TV series. I'm okay with it, quite honestly. I'm okay with it being on HBO Max. I have no qualms about that whatsoever. Yeah, I don't know about a TV series. I don't know if I would check in to a TV series every week for Dune. And I don't know if I'd binge watch one either if it was on Netflix kind of thing where they dropped it all at once. It just uh, I think movies are the way to go with it, to tell you the truth. Yes, I know it is a sprawling series. You've got a lot of stuff going on. Um, I don't know. I might be wrong on it, which I could be. It's always a possibility. But yeah, um, I'm okay with it being on Max, HBO Max, whatever you want to call it. But yeah. And I know, I mean, they're trying to save money too at this point. So them getting into a production of that magnitude without building their own volume set, like Disney Plus has, would be so fucking expensive. So fucking expensive. It would be like doing a movie every episode, and the cost of a movie every episode. And I'm not even talking like a Large movie, I'm talking like 25-30 million dollars per episode if they wanted to do it right. So yeah, I can't see them doing a TV series. The Mandalorian, again, if they hadn't created the volume in order to and if you don't know what the volume is, by the way, so the volume is the sound stage that they are on. So the screens that are around, it's basically a circular set, a large circular set that has screens all the way around it with screens on top as well. So all that lighting that you're getting on your characters are all coming from the screens. The backgrounds meld into the foregrounds. So you don't know where the foreground ends and where the background starts. That is the way the volume is. And it's rendered in Unreal Engine, is what it's called. That's the name of the program. This is all on Disney Plus in their, I believe it's called Masterworks series or Masterpiece. I can't remember what it is, where they go behind the scenes of the Mandalorian. And this is something that George Lucas had envisioned back when he was doing the prequels. And this was something that he wanted to do, was something like that, but he wasn't able to put it together because of the technology at the time. But now with the technology that we have, they're able to do that volume. And a lot of TV shows are moving towards that. They're building their own. Um, Fox is making one down in Australia. So Fox Studios, which is separate from Disney, which is kind of a weird thing, but yeah. Um, and I agree with you, Raymond. The volume is a huge game changer on these things. It is one of those things that allows you to do so much more for so little money. And you're going to rely more on programmers, artists, visual artists, that kind of thing, in order to do your backgrounds and your special effects than you do now. But the thing is, you don't have to integrate them uh, as harshly as they do now with movies. There's compositing and stuff like that. I can go into the whole nerd, aspect of it, but I know people's eyes will glaze over if I do that. So yeah, there's matting and compositing and all this kind of stuff and getting the lighting right. And this way, your stuff is all done in camera, and you could do practical effects on stage, on set, and have it all just be filmed, and that's it. You're done. Yeah. No, you don't want me going into the nerd stuff, Raymond. It's yeah, it just gets tedious at that point. They go into it enough in the Mandalorian, in the Disney Plus series there, and they talk about it, in pretty good detail. That's why I kind of nerded out on it. I want to go back and rewatch that whole thing again because I had so much fun watching it, and it was so good listening to it and hearing what they were doing and like getting ideas and stuff like that. Yeah. Popeye Pliskin says it's too expensive to film on location on Tatooine. Security would be too much of a risk to get insured. Yeah, I know. It's all those damn Tusken Raiders, and the Jawas. Those fucking Jawas keep stealing all the equipment, and then they try to resell it again to the crew at double the cost. Go figure. You know, not to mention just all the scum and villainy that's all over the place there. Yeah, Tatooine's a bitch to film on location wise. That's all I got for you. Yeah, I know it's a short one, but that's all I had. There's not really much going on this week. So what else am I doing this week? Well, tomorrow I'm off. Monday will be His Dark Materials. Tuesday will be another episode of Is It Worth My Time? And this time around, I'm doing the sequel to Train to Busan called Peninsula. I'll be talking about that. Wednesday, I'm probably going to do another episode of Who in the Hell Is. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do right now of who in the hell is. I might do Who in the Hell Is Kate Bishop. since Kate Bishop is in the news right now, and with Haley Steinfeld playing that role. Thursday I'll be off. Friday will be The Mandalorian. And remember, it's episode 7 of The Mandalorian, which means we only have 2 episodes left of The Mandalorian. And then, of course, we roll back around to Saturday with Saturday Morning Blast Off. So, Raymond says, on a side note, what do you think of those monoliths popping up and disappearing? It's just people having fun, quite honestly, Raymond. Yeah, it's just people having fun. The one that popped up in Utah, the original one that started all of this stuff, it had no rust on it or anything like that. And yeah, even if you have stainless steel, I don't care. It's still going to get. Where I work, I'm down by the water, down by the sea and whatnot. And even with stainless steel, you still get fucking rust no matter what. Out in the desert, you're still going to get rust. And yeah, you heard the Utah monoliths were put there by the crew of Westworld. They could have been. Because there's one also now in the Czech Republic, I think was the second one. There's one that was put out by like an archaeological site, which, by the way, is supposedly a really hard place to get anything placed because you need to go through the whole Ministry of Culture in order to even access that site, in order to get the monolith up there. So someone had some connections in order to get that one up there. And then the one that was in Altascadero that got ripped down by a whole bunch of dude bros recently. That one was just put up for fun. You could tell. Yeah. Romania. Thank you, Popeye. Was it Romania? Yeah. I thought it was the Czech Republic. I couldn't remember offhand. But yeah, it's just people having fun. I mean, what else are you gonna do during the fucking pandemic? You go out in the middle of nowhere where there's nobody at because everyone's in their homes right now because we're trying to, not die. And you put up something for fun. And then when other people go out there and they spot it and they're like, holy shit, what's this? We humans are funny that way. We like I mean, yeah, it's alien people having fun. Yeah, exactly. You thought of 2001, Raymond, with the monoliths coming up? No, not really. I mean, like I said, it's just people having fun. It's artists with a lot of leftover metal and too much time on their hands. Do I believe in the otherworldly? It depends on what day you catch me. I mean, it's a big old universe out there. There's got to be other kind of life out there. Now, is it sentient life? Don't know. You know, I do find the idea, and I've talked about this before, that they talked about consciousness, human consciousness being a part of an electromagnetic cloud, in our brains, and that's why they can get affected by certain things and whatnot. And it was a theory that was put out in a paper, and I was like, that's kind of interesting, having electromagnetic consciousness. That's why we get affected by magnets, or large magnets and stuff like that, microwaves. I was actually just reading about this morning, that the U.S. embassy in, is it Cuba? No, I think it might be Cuba, where they got targeted by a supposed weapon, and there's about 40 state people that have had lasting effects because of supposedly a microwave transmitter weapon was directed at them. And yeah, they've never seen any of the effects like this before in people, and they're still having. And this happened like about a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago, and these people are still actually having effects from that. And it's about 40 people. That's a lot of people because it was directed at a building. So Dante S says, I think that we're all way more connected than we realize, especially when you smoke a lot of weed. You see all those connections. And on that note, I should probably let you guys go. Thank you everybody who joined me today in the chat, and thank you if you made it this far in the video. If you want to know when I'll be on live again next, you get the bell down below. It's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you. Best thing to do is go to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule that's up there, plus all the links to my social media and all my pages out there. Also, if you can, hit that subscribe button down below there too, and that like and the share button as well. And if you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops at the very end here. Basically, what YouTube does, takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching, tries to match it as best as possible one of the videos in my vast video library, and pops it up there just for you. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button down there. Yeah. So thanks everybody. Yeah, I will see you again on Monday for his Dark Materials. So let me know also if you guys want to see something on who in the hell is, like if you want a character explained. I granted, now it's got to be a character that I know something about, because if I don't know anything about a character like, Solid Snake, for example, I'm probably not going to do it, because I end up having to do a lot of research. Then I'm just going to be reading a cue card essentially. I do research as it is anyway on the characters I even do know. Like when I did Ahsoka Tano, I took a shit ton of notes because I didn't want to fuck it up. Grand Admiral Thrawn, I was still a little bit shaky on. I knew some, but yeah. So stuff like that. Let me know. Anyway, thanks everybody. I will let you go. Enjoy the rest of your day. Don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may end up making and sticking a monolith out in the middle of nowhere just for shits and giggles. Thanks, everybody. I will see you again on Monday. Until then, stay safe, be well, take care, and don't get abducted by any aliens, because what they like to do with probing and stuff like that, it's not good. Thanks, everybody. I will see you again on Monday. Take care.